You're listening to Flashpoint Radio, Rise and Shine, your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun. With Mikey G, Lady Elise, and Coralie Karen, the unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further, away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries, we'll make our own way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd. Just you and me together, we'll all sing better outside. Just us in the sky.
Welcome to the breakfast hour. It is Wellness Wednesday and it is an amazingly fabulous day. And the reason it is amazingly fabulous is because we're alive. I noticed that Mikey G said earlier, I am above ground and, we take it lightly, but it's not a light matter. When we go to bed, we mimic death. We are asleep, we are unconscious for some hours, and we don't know what is happening around us. And then we are awakened, not by our clocks, but God would have chosen for us to get one more day. And what are we going to do with this day? Good morning, Mikey G. Good morning, viewers and listeners. It's Wellness Wednesday, and you're tuned in live to the breakfast hour. I'm Lady Elise.
Just you and me together, we'll all sing better outside. Just us in the sky. I will go wherever, I'll be yours
forever. Indeed, we want to say a pleasant good morning to all that are listening this morning. If you are listening on www.flashpointmedia.ky, or radio starts earlier, we have been here from morning, guys. Where have you been? Of course, we're just starting our stream, and of course, we're streaming live right here in the Grand Cayman Islands, the Breakfast Hour, and many other programs that we do have. Of course, this morning we want, as Lady Elise would rightly say, it's Wellness Wednesday today, and indeed we are having a beautiful morning. It's nice and sunny, and of course, lots of commuting. People are going about their busy day, and of course, sometimes not realizing how finite we are. But this morning, without any further ado, I want to welcome you to the breakfast hour. I trust and hope that God will protect, guide, and keep you, not just you, also your family. And when I pray, Lady Elise, I just don't pray for myself and my families. I pray also for my friends and the people that I know who are not necessarily friends either.
Right, yes.
And it is a difficult sell sometimes when you pray and you're not praying for your friends. And these people hate you, but you still pray for them. It's a different thing, right? But God is always in control of the narrative. Of course, Wellness Wednesday. Of course, when we come back.
to build your dream home or renovate your space? M&M Construction is the perfect place. We bring your vision to life with precision and quality craftsmanship. From design to construction, we guide you every step, ensuring seamless coordination and superior results. Our professional roof inspection and maintenance services will ensure that your roof is sturdy this hurricane season. So, if you are ready to start your construction journey, call us today at 345-927-7509. Build with confidence. Build with M&M Construction. 345-927-7509.
Build with confidence. Build with M&M Construction. I want to thank our sponsors for keeping us on the air. And you know, the days are rushing so quickly, Mikey G, that I can scarcely manage to figure out how come this is 2025 and we are already in the second month and time waits for no man. We are certainly having to keep track of all the days as they come. And so this morning, I just want to share with our listeners what is celebrated today, and not just locally here in the Cayman Islands, but on the global scale. What are people doing all over the world today? I know that in Cayman it's a bright, sunny morning, as you have discovered, and today is National Arabian Horse Day, National Vet Girls Rise Day, and National Lash Day, National Chocolate Mint Day.
Chocolate mint. I used to love that chocolate mint taste. I know you just, as you said it a while ago, it brings back the taste in my mouth.
Yes, there's a nice
Yes.
little flavor with the mint and chocolate, and I believe that the
Chocolate mint.
Lasco persons have captured that. There's a warm beverage, yes. There's a chocolate mint beverage that we got a few boxes here in studio, courtesy of Alaska. So today is also National Airboat Day. And so I don't know where you are, which side of the world you will be, but I hope that you get some chocolate mint.
Chocolate mint day, of course. I remember having the Lasco chocolate mint tea mix. They have this is what I remember. Yeah. That's
You
what I
remember?
Yes. I remember the chocolate mint mix, Lady Elise. Yeah. That's a good that's a good taste. I enjoyed
Ah,
it.
it is. It is.
It
Nice,
is.
smooth, you know,
Hmm.
nice. Yeah.
Of course, today is Wellness Wednesday, and want to talk a little bit more about health. Taking care of your body. Dieting is a good thing, Lady Elise. People say when you go on diet, you want to lose weight, and of course, obesity in the Cayman Islands is at a higher alarming rate than we can ever imagine. They said
It's a
when you have more money, you eat more food. I'm just kidding. Come on, guys.
Yeah, listen.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Don't kill me yet. I'm just messing with you. All right, fine. But come on, but you can't. Ladies, you can't appear to be wealthy or doing well and come out skinny and scrawny.
I have nothing to say.
we talked a little bit about the guys who are actually mugging persons using this approach. And I, it resonates with me just on the last evening. Just thinking about it, you going about delivering a pizza and somebody's there waiting to knock you out.
So you no wonder, have we gone to that extent? Because you know what I really have a challenge with, Mikey G. I have a challenge with it, crime at that level. Well, crime in general.
It's not a crime.
But to know
It's not a
that
crime. It's a disgrace. You should stop doing it, you stupid person, right? You should stop it. Come on, it's the pizza guy. The people want the food. You're ordering food and somebody coming waiting to beat you up to take away the pizza and probably take away the 10. Come on. Hey, come on, man. Behave yourself. That's ridiculous. It's stupid, right? I mean, I understand. But there's so much things going on. So go look at a job, no, man.
Yeah.
Go get a job, man. Go get a job. Go find. If you have enough strength to go and knock out somebody to take something from them, you can work. You can work. It's a pity they don't have a thing then to just take a lash or two, you know? But let them just beat them and let them go. Why? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was just thinking a while ago. I think I switched off. I was off the TV and then on afterwards. Talking about it. All right, so I'm hiding my face. Let me hide my face.
Please do so. Forthwith and presently.
All right, fine. I think that's a guess for the morning, guys. Of course, of course, our doctor will be on shortly. It's Wellness Wednesday.
It's Wellness Wednesday.
Yes, of course, we take a small commercial break and when we come back, all right?
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4, Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
And of course, we are joined by our physician. Dr. K is joining us this morning, and I'm sure she has very relevant information to share with us this morning. And I have to check in for my virtual visit. Dr. K! Dr. K! Where should I start?
Check
At the
in.
I know.
beginning.
Check in for the virtual visit this morning, and that's a good place to start because we are actually
At the
we should have
beginning.
Flashpoint Total Health, and you check in for your visit.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, no, not Flashpoint Total Health, but Flashpoint Health. How about that for a change?
there is no wealth without health.
Working all my life, and then
Good
after
slogan. No
working.
wealth without health.
That's it.
Welcome, Dr. K. Good morning to you. Of course, welcome to the breakfast hour. Of course, today's Wellness Wednesdays for those who are just joining us. And of course, we're going to be talking a little bit more about your health and how you're keeping. Are you keeping well? All right. If you are not keeping well, here are some tips and advice for you on this Wellness Wednesday. All right. So we're going to be talking a little bit more about our health this morning. Dr. K, what do you have for us this morning?
Okay, so February is Heart Awareness Month. Okay? And we've been talking about a lot of things. Last week we talked about taking care of your eyes, and we talked about glaucoma because January was Glaucoma Awareness Month, but this month is Heart Awareness. So today I'm going to talk about heart failure. But in keeping with Black History Month, do you know it was a black man who performed the first successful open heart surgery?
Wow.
Oh.
Here you go.
His name, right, his name was Daniel Hale Williams, and he performed the first open heart surgery. He did it on a gentleman. He graduated from Chicago Medical School, and he basically there was a man who got stabbed in the heart, and he was the first person to open the do an open heart surgery where he had to successfully repair the pericardium, and that is the sac around the heart. Because I'm not sure if everybody knows, but your organs tend to be in a sac. There's always a thin layer of membrane around the organ. So the heart doesn't just sit by itself, it sits in a sac. And so if you have damage to the heart, or there's fluid around the heart, whether it's going to be serious fluid or it's going to be blood around the heart, then the heart is in that space, so the heart is unable to pump. Okay, so basically the fluid stops the heart from pumping, and then that can lead to death. Because if the heart does not pump, what happens? You cannot get blood flowing around the body, and as a result of that, you will die. So he repaired the pericardium, and he's a black man. So that's my little tidbit for Black History Month.
Did you know?
Did you know?
That's
Yes.
what it is right there. All right.
Right. But today we'll be talking about heart failure. And it's something that does not occur only in the older people, but it can occur at any stage of your life. Because unfortunately, children can be born with congenital heart disease that can actually lead to heart failure if not properly repaired. So what is heart failure? So we know that we have a pumping action of the heart, right? So we know blood goes in. Oh, I wish I had a diagram here. Blood goes in the right side of the heart, okay, from the body. So it comes from the legs, it comes from all the organs, and that's we call that dirty blood, go into the right side of the body, which is over here. And what happens is that blood is pumped through the atria, down through the ventricles, through the valves, and then out, and then go into the lungs, get cleaned up, come onto the left side of the body, get pumped, and that's where we get our oxygen or clean blood going to our tissues in order for us to our tissues to function. So I mean, think about it. It's a good pumping mechanism. You have blood coming on one side, dirty blood from the body gets cleaned up, and then the clean blood comes on the other side and pumps out to the body.
I'm going with
So-
I'm going with the thought of a filtration. What they use a filtration system. The Cayman Islands have what we call a water filtration system that uses the actual seawater and purify it to let us have drinking water. I just thought about that a while ago when you said how the heart worked. You know, it
And
basically
then we have
cleans.
additional, we have filtration system, we have our lungs, our kidneys, our liver. These are all the areas that try to get rid of toxins out of our body. So yeah, we have the heart is just the pump that pump after the blood is being cleaned, it pumps it out and gets it to pump to this pumping station to get it cleaned up. And then when it's cleaned up, it pumps it to the rest of the body so we can get nutrients in our tissues to function optimally. But it's important that if the heart is not functioning properly, that means if the pumping action of the heart is impaired in any way, then there is the long-term effect, and we call that heart failure. So heart failure comes in stages. So heart failure is the inability of the heart to meet the needs of the body. Okay?
Okay.
So what causes heart failure? There are many things that cause heart failure. And the commonest cause is basically coronary artery disease. And what is coronary artery disease? It's when you have buildup of plaques in your blood vessel. And we say coronary because coronary relates to heart. So it's buildup of plaque in that vessel. And if you have buildup on plaque in that vessel, what happens is that you have decreased blood flow to the heart. And if you have decreased blood flow to the heart, then you can get a heart attack. And with a heart attack, what happens is that it damages the muscle of the heart. And so the heart doesn't move as well. So when the muscle becomes damaged, it's you have to understand that you want to build muscles, and skeletal muscle is different from cardiac muscle. So you want to build muscles and you want to go to the gym and you want to destroy those muscles and you break them down and build them back. Because what you're doing is tearing them, your skeletal muscle. Every time you work it out, you're actually causing some damage to the muscle for you to build back the muscle. And the difference with the heart muscle is that once you tear it, once you damage it, is less likely for it to get back to the normal way it was before. It's just like getting a scar. If you get a cut and you get a scar, that area of your body will be scarred for life.
So are you
Start
saying
to
then,
build
Dr.
it.
K, that heart failure is not reversible?
Heart failure is treatable. So what you can do is, and it all depends on the type of heart failure.
Right.
So if you have if you have scarring of the muscle, then that muscle will be scarred forever. And depends on how bad the scarring is, then you're less likely to have that irreversible injury. It's irreversible. But then there's some things that the other thing that can cause heart failure is high blood pressure.
Mm.
And this is because what happens is that, think about it, when you're pumping against the pressure, you're actually, the heart is working so much that eventually it's pressure, it's pushing. And eventually what's happening is that the muscles get weak.
Wow.
So because your blood pressure is so high over a prolonged period, we're talking about years here, your heart is working overtime. And you know, when you work overtime, you become worn out. When you
Wow.
work too much, what happens to your body? You become worn out. And that is exactly what happens to your heart. Your heart becomes worn out. And if your heart becomes worn out, it's not, the pumping action is not going to be as strong because the muscles are weaker now.
So I
So
guess
yes, that's
lazy people have a good reason not to work too much then.
why
They don't want to
they
work
don't
and
get
wear out
worn
their.
out.
No, but I am thinking, and I'm thinking about it because, um, we have frequently heard of high blood pressure being coined as the silent killer. And
It is.
the reason persons are not diagnosed, or they're not diagnosed until they have something like heart failure. And when they get to that point, you wonder, how do you manage? Because then you're in this situation that you can't do as much exercise, because you have to measure how you exert pressure on the heart. So all the things that you would want to do to improve the strength of the muscle, like you would go exercise to get your biceps bigger. But now that you have a situation with your heart, you have to measure what activity you do. So how do you balance that sort of a situation?
Right, and that's a good question. The thing about it is that it all depends on the stage of your heart failure.
Mm-hmm.
So the stage of your heart failure will determine how much exercise, because there are people who have heart failure and cannot walk from here to the door
Mm.
without
Wow.
getting shortness of breath because there's so much buildup. But let me explain the pathophysiology before we even go there. So what happens in heart failure is that if the ventricle down here on the left side is all stretched out, and because it's pumping so much against the vessels that are the pressure that is so high in the blood vessel, what happens is that fluid is backed up. It's backed up into the atria, then it's going to be backed up into the lungs, then it's going to be backed up on the right side, then it's going to be backed up in the legs, then it's going to be backed up in the liver, and it's going to be backed up in the entire body. So that is why when you have heart failure, you're getting the shortness of breath because fluid is backed up in the lungs because it's not pushing out properly. So if once you're supposed to be emptying the vessel, you're supposed to have a strong pumping action and you're supposed to empty all the blood inside that area of the heart. If you're not emptying all the blood and your blood is remaining, blood is still coming in and it's remaining, so you cannot have, it's like you cannot have a total filling because the blood is coming in and not being able to go out completely. So it keeps backing up, backing up, backing up all the way. But when you have valvular heart disease, that can cause heart failure. And when you have infection of the heart or other things, that can lead to heart failure. But I'm just talking about the common cause. So the thing about it is that a lot of these people who end up with heart failure end up having to take medication that will help to remodel the heart in order to decrease the what would you say, the stretch, make it a little bit more not so weakened. So you can start with medication that will help, and with being treated you will be able to exercise because exercise actually helps with heart failure. But without being treated, of course, you're not going to be able to exercise. Fluid is going to build up in you. You're going to gain weight because that's another thing that we have for our heart failure patients. We will say you need to weigh daily. And if you see that your weight is increasing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pounds, if it's over 5 pounds, hospital, go to your doctor because that's significant because it's fluid that is backing up. So yes, with patients who have heart failure, they're not able to exercise because of the, especially if they're in acute heart failure, because of the shortness of breath and even chronic heart failure. But being treated, we can actually relieve these symptoms and
Mm-hmm.
can actually allow the patient to exercise. So it's when you're going through, so the condition is heart failure, but your heart is not at the point where you can't move. is usually if you're being treated or if you're managing your heart failure. But then there are some people whose heart basically is a governor, and they're either going to need a heart transplant or they're going to need an external device to actually pump the blood for them because the heart is definitely not working properly. So we don't want to get to the point where our heart is not working properly, people, because it's either you're going to get a heart transplant, which is not so easy to come by because everybody has only one, and so you have to basically have somebody who doesn't need a heart anymore. Okay, that means that they're deceased or heading there.
I don't even want to
And
start a conversation. I don't even want to even think about it.
and you can get an external device that will help you. That's something you have to walk with outside of your body that's going to be pumping the blood for you. And but the best thing to do is to take care of your heart. And take care of your heart means that you're going to be doing the things that will be heart healthy. You're going to be exercising, eating properly, healthy diet, managing your stress, because that's another thing that can cause heart failure. We know about broken heart syndrome, okay?
Tell us more about broken heart
Because I
syndrome.
well, here's where I was going a while ago when I heard the thing about heart feeling and all that. My mother would say, "Boy, you're gonna make my heart feel me," that kind of thing. You ever hear your mother say these things to their sons? "You're gonna make my heart feel me, boy." You're gonna give me heart failure. That's a thing. So when you said broken heart syndrome, I think I don't know if it's along the same line as, my mother would say these things in distress when she might have a situation to deal with when she's talking to some of those boys that are not listening too much, and she said, "Why you gonna make my heart feel me today?" That sort of thing. Broken heart syndrome.
Right. So that's an emotional broken heart syndrome.
Yeah.
That's
So
emotional
it's
broken heart.
it's
When you
actually a
say
real thing. It's actually a real thing when somebody.
you can have broken heart syndrome, which is basically what your mom is talking about when she said, "Boy, don't let my heart feel me." Is basically she's saying, with all the stress that you're putting me under, I will eventually have heart failure. And believe me, that can happen, but it's going to be a lot of stress. You have to be continually stressing your mother out
Okay.
for a long time, and she's not able to handle the stress that you give her, and then eventually she can lead to heart, because it's not just your stress, it's the stresses of life and everything else that happens around that can actually cause. But basically, broken heart syndrome is basically a condition that can lead to weakened heart muscle. Usually it is temporary, but it can, depending on how long. And that is really because of stress. So when your mommy says, "Boy, you're going to give me heart failure," don't take it too lightly, because broken heart syndrome is because of the stressful situation that you're in that usually leads to temporary heart failure.
So I want to bring out up a while about that because there's a lot of persons, a lot of young boys out there who don't want to listen to mama sometimes. And this is the little part that I would use for the youngsters especially, to please pay attention to these things, because you're hurting mommy when you don't listen too much. I just want to interject that there and actually place it as a way to go forward. Thank you.
Right. So basically what happens is that it usually happens to a lot when a person goes through a significant stressful situation. For example, there's a death of a spouse or something that's really, really stressful at that time. And basically it kind of mimics a heart attack. But it's usually temporary. After the person gets over the situation, the condition tends to reverse itself. Okay, but as I say, depending on how bad the situation is, how long the stressful situation is, it doesn't necessarily mean that it could be. It's usually temporary.
I find it so interesting, Dr. K, because around Valentine's Day and February as it's celebrated as Heart Month, there's a lot of red hearts shaped, and the heart is actually an organ that pumps blood, as you mentioned, but yet your emotion, how does your mind transcend and enter your heart so much that it can affect your heart muscle? We are certainly fearfully and wonderfully made, and to maintain that delicate balance of maintaining your peace.
That is
Yes.
true, because remember, when we are heart, because it remember there's the autonomic nervous system, and the that basically helps with your hormonal secretion. So when you're going through a particular stressful situation, our body feeds back to produce a lot of these hormones that actually causes your heart to race. You know that your pulse increases, your
Mm.
heart beats faster, you know, and
Your
these things
adrenaline
are things that
increase.
can say that again.
Your adrenaline increase.
Yes, and these hormones are what actually causes you to actually have long lasting effect on the body, because we know that if we are, say for example, we have irregular beating of the heart, whether it's going to be from particular points in the heart. We have atrial fibrillation, which is a condition in which the atria is firing impulses and causing it to beat irregularly. These are things that can lead to heart failure. But or intrinsic hormones in itself can actually trigger some of these abnormalities if we're prolonged exposure to the offending agent, which will be the stress. And usually, when you go through Valentine's and you see somebody you love and your heart races a little bit, but then it comes back down because of the whole fluttery feeling in the heart, and the whole works, it doesn't stay there. But when you're going through a stressful situation, somebody is going to give you bad news. You have a bad diagnosis, or something is happening to somebody. That period of stress can stay there for days.
Mm-hmm.
And as I always say to you, stress is not a bad thing. It is how you deal with it. So it's a prolonged exposure to the stress, which is the offending agent, that is going to cause the damage to your body.
Doc, I know how
And
stress.
usually it is.
Right, Doc.
Go ahead.
Like I said, I know how stress works for me, and 'cause I have been so stressed already that my entire body cramps.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I start cramping from my neck. It travels down my shoulders. It travels down my back, and then I can't move. My arm is basically, it's as if somebody placed me in a cast, and I'm basically, I'm become robotic, so in some movements, right?
And that go ahead.
So I know, but the first time I saw this thing, I never knew what it was. What happened to me, and I'll say this, that there were some bumps that came up on my left breast, lots of bumps, and they started itching me, and they were there, and it started coming out of my chest, and I was saying, what's going on with me, but I didn't know what it was. When I went to the doctor, and they, just for these bumps, the doctor says that these are stress factors, these are symptoms of the stress level that you're going under. What's happening to you? I couldn't believe that anything was even remotely possible that such a thing could happen. But I found that to be true. And so I can tell you, when you said that a while ago, I have gone through this level of stress for myself. Quiet, when you talk about quietly stressing, nobody knows that you are stressing and you keep it for yourself. You're not telling anybody about your thing. But I have found myself doing this. So I know that this is a real thing, and I have no doubt the effects that it can bring. And it's very severe, and sometimes I think it is very fatal, as you say. And I'm just relating to it right now.
And that is why a lot of people will spend a lot of money going to get massages
Mm-hmm.
because with the stress, yes, your muscles are going into spasm and it's tight and your neck muscles, your back muscles, those big muscles, and a lot of people spend a lot of money just to get massages in order to relieve the stress that you're placing on your body. And so this morning we know that um, believers in God, we have an extra source of strength and somebody we can take our stress to. And that's why we are at an advantage, let's put it that way, because we can take our stress to God and leave it there. But it's a matter of managing your stress, and we all need always need somebody. Everybody needs somebody because there are times when you would think it's a very stressful. I mean, somebody, and stress is different for everybody. Okay, I might break my nail, and that might be very stressful for me because for me, my fingers might be my thing, my prized possession. So having that damage is gonna be. I'm gonna worry about that and somebody else might say that's silly, but things affect people differently. So what affects you, I might have a loss of a loved one and I'm saying well, God knows best and I'm not stressing about it, where somebody else would basically almost be going down into the grave with this person. So it all depends, and we all handle stress differently, and it's how we're made up. Remember,
Yes.
everybody's made up differently. Your
Mm-hmm.
environment, your genetics, these all affect how you deal with things, the way you were brought up, your exposure, your support, who you are. I mean, it all depends. People who are alone, people who have family, people who have, it's amazing. It all depends, and we have to know that we have to be there for everyone.
What a note to end this morning's episode of the Breakfast Hour on. That wealth of information comes every morning on Wellness Wednesday, and today is no different. For many persons who have joined us for the first time, I want to say welcome to you. And of course, to thank you, Doc, for this amount of information is by no means cheap, I can tell you, and I want to thank you this morning very, very much for being here with us at Flashpoint, and for our listeners each morning to help somebody. I think somebody's helped this morning from the advice and information that is passed.
Thank you so much, Dr. K. Wonderful presentation. I am singing this song in my heart as you said what you said. It says, guard your heart, guard your heart. Don't trade it for treasure, don't give it away. Guard your heart. As a payment for pleasure, it's a high price to pay. For a soul that remains sincere with a conscience clear, guard your heart.
Absolutely, guard your heart, and it's something that we have to take care of, our minds, our hearts, because what we put in can affect our heart function and what we put out in terms of our hearts. And we need to make sure that we have healthy hearts. Not just emotional heart, not just physical heart, but emotional heart too.
Well, with that note, we want to say thanks, Doc. And of course, it's time for our news. Of course, our news is this segment of the program is brought to us by Asai Ultrasound for all your ultrasound needs right here in the Grand Cayman Islands. Of course, when we come back.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
Good morning. It is Wednesday, February 19th. These are the news headlines on Flashpoint Radio. I'm Corley Karen. Georgetown businesses struggle amid revitalization project. The ongoing revitalization project in Georgetown is causing major disruptions for local businesses. Amid dust and rumble, frustrated motorists are forced to navigate an obstacle course of bright orange cones as construction crews work on a new roundabout near the post office. Angela Dixon, owner of Just My Fit fashion store, says customers are turning away due to the mess. Customers are seeing this and turning right around, she lamented. As the revitalization continues, business owners fear a prolonged impact on foot traffic and sales. Election candidates ordered to remove illegal billboards. The National Roads Authority and the Planning Department have warned political candidates that election billboards violating new signage rules may be removed. Several billboards have already been erected across Grand Cayman, but some appear to breach regulations regarding placement on medians, roadsides, and roundabouts. Marion Pandoy, NRA's information manager, stated that candidates with signs in medians will be contacted to have them removed. The regulations, expanded last year to align with international safety standards, aim to protect motorists and pedestrians. Until 2017, billboards were restricted in size and placement, but policy changes have since relaxed those rules. The new enforcement measures signal a shift towards stricter compliance ahead of the election season. Survey finds Cayman youth start drinking as young as 11. A shocking new survey by the National Drug Council reveals that Caymanian children start drinking at an average age of 11. The Cayman Islands Student Drug Use Survey 2024 found that alcohol is the most commonly used drug among young people, with 10.2% admitting they had been drunk at least once in the past year. The survey, conducted among students from years 7 to 13, found that alcohol use increases with age. Alarmingly, 45.5% of students who drank in the past 30 days also reported engaging in binge drinking. The findings have sparked concerns over early alcohol exposure and its potential long-term effects on youths. In regional news, Grand Palladium expansion to bring 948 new hotel rooms and jobs to Jamaica. Jamaica's tourism sector is set for a boost as Grand Palladium Hotels and Resorts broke ground on a massive expansion project in Hanover. The development will add 948 hotel rooms and create approximately 1,500 direct jobs, along with up to 5,700 indirect employment opportunities. The groundbreaking ceremony on Tuesday saw attendance from Prime Minister Andrew Holness, Spanish Ambassador Jose Maria Fernandez Lopez, and executives from Palladium Hotel Group. Vice President Abel Matuthes reaffirmed the company's commitment to Jamaica's economic growth, highlighting the island's potential as a premier global tourist destination. 6 soldiers injured in attack on Ghana-Venezuela border. Tensions between Guyana and Venezuela have escalated after 6 Guyanese soldiers were injured in an attack along the Cuyuni River. The soldiers were on a resupply mission when armed men believed to be from Venezuela opened fire. 2 soldiers are in critical condition. Ghana's Chief of Staff, Brigadier General Omar Khan, blamed suspected gang members for the attack. The incident comes amid ongoing territorial disputes between the two nations over the oil-rich Essequibo region. While an emergency summit last year sought to prevent armed conflict, the latest attack raises concerns about further instability. 148 migrants intercepted off Turks and Caicos coast. Authorities in the Turks and Caicos Islands have detained 148 irregular migrants after intercepting their vessel on Monday night. The group, which included 109 men, 39 women, and 2 minors, were taken to South Dock Port for processing before being transferred to a detention center. This marked the 4th vessel intercepted this year, bringing the total number of detained migrants to nearly 300. Officials continue to monitor illegal migration routes amid growing concerns over human trafficking and border security. Those were your news headlines on Flashpoint Radio. Stay tuned for more updates throughout the day.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
A lot going on and talking about the Georgetown revitalization. And of course, I think the major work has been done. I had the privilege of walking through the town. I'm going to share a video clip tomorrow. I'll get a chance today to perhaps share with those persons who are not living in Georgetown and not in Grand Cayman. I'll definitely try to get that so that you can see what it is we are speaking about. Driving through Georgetown, the newly renovated, we have pavers and a little bit of change in the way the traffic flows, but certainly it's looking more beautiful. And I think eventually it could welcome more more pedestrians, of course, and so the town will be revitalized eventually. And it's a beautiful sunny morning. If you notice, it is bright. We don't have a virtual background, but you would see persons are busy here in the Cayman Islands, hustling and bustling, getting to work, heading to and fro. And so we want to welcome you if you're joining us on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, or you're listening via www.flashpointmedia.ky. beautiful day to be alive. And I say rightly so, giving God thanks for one more day.
So I want to tell you, I want to say to they mentioned one shop owner
Yes,
who is very
yes,
upset.
yes.
I want to say good morning to my friend who's very upset. Give a free commercial, just my fit, this morning. Of course, I'm going to give a free commercial for a friend this morning. Just my fit is located in the same vicinity, the same location area, and of course, they offer clothing for persons who are of different size. So when we talk about, we're talking about people who are not the same size as me. Because my clothes everybody can find my clothes.
You see, if we are judging by what we see on the camera,
Oh, that's right. All right. So anyways,
we can change things. I mean,
Around,
tomorrow, if I want to be like,
Yeah, the camera can do the trick on that.
that.
All right. When the camera won't do the trick, and you want to get some clothes that can actually fit you, check out
Try
Just My Fit. Yeah, Just My Fit, and you will find something very interesting
To fit you.
to fit you. Of course, we are here in the Grand Cayman Islands. Of course, this morning is another Wednesday, Wellness Wednesday morning, and we did so much on well. But what I wanted to look at was one of the high points that I want to look at was the drinking of the youngsters.
Oh yes,
Actually,
yes, from as early as age 11.
Yeah, I mean, guys, don't be alarmed. It's not common. This is not foreign to any other country. Other places are doing the same thing. All right, so I'm not going to be beating up the Cayman Islands and saying that, oh my God, it's happening only in the Cayman Islands. No, not saying that. But yes, this was not a norm, and so persons are now finding it alarming for it to be happening in the Cayman Islands. So that's where we want to put it. It's like saying there are persons who are not accustomed to seeing murders constantly, and somebody would fringe a little bit when they see it, and the next one would say, "What's wrong with you? Something wrong with you, you know."
But the question is,
So,
Mikey G.
but the answer
The question is, if it is illegal for you to have alcohol at a certain age because there are signs you can't purchase it. An 11-year-old cannot go into a liquor store and purchase it. There are regulations that prohibit that from happening. So for them to be able to access that alcohol, it means that they would have been getting it from some person who is able to access it. And then they can have it. So so it speaks to our level of responsibilities, because then it can become something addictive. And so we need to ask Dr. K on one of these Wellness Wednesday if she could address issues relating to the liver, like cirrhosis or any sort of liver conditions. There's fatty liver is on the rise to hepatic steatosis. And so we can ask her to address those issues. But that's some news to hear, though, Mikey G.
Sad to say that this is a poison that nobody wants to stop drinking, and this is just what it is. So we're human beings. We want what we want, and we do go at lengths to get it. The 1930s was a proof of that, when the alcohol story came out as a known drug at the time, and they murdered and plundered and killed everyone in coming their way to get it and have it, to sell it, and to provide the service to those who are actually. Because what you know for a fact, that commerce, it is the demand that drives commerce.
The law of supply and demand, yes.
So if you don't have somebody who demands it,
yes,
you don't have anybody who will want to kill to get it to you, or to keep it, or kill you to get it in this sense. Moving on to the billboards for politicians are being placed. Will it be that some politicians don't think that they want that politician's billboard to be there.
You know, life is very dynamic, Mikey G, and you would have known that in your in your encounters in life and different experiences, and yeah, that is something to see. There have been quite a few billboards up as election draws near, and we certainly would want to have representatives from different to hear what they have.
What's a young politician for Georgetown? His name is yeah, I don't, let's not call it him. So he has a billboard right in front. His billboard is the one. I don't know if it's his billboard or somebody owns the billboard and privately put.
You mean the one at the end of Eastern Avenue?
That one, that's when you drive to the Eastern Avenue stoplight right there. It's right there in front of you.
There's a nice big yellow billboard there for the past couple of weeks.
Not weeks. It's been there for a while. Been there for a while.
Yes, usually
I would say if I not years. It's been there for a while because I've been watching that billboard for a long time. I saw it the first time.
This one now it has
it's the biggest one in the entire Cayman Islands. The biggest billboard I've seen.
Yes, it has a different look these days. But certainly a lot of billboards. There's one at Cricket Square. I think there's one. There are several in the Newlands community because I went to Newlands Church recently and I saw like at least 3 billboards there. So the political campaigning is it's quite active right here, and let's see what this year brings for the people who live and work here.
We'll be definitely be deliberating, talking to a few of these persons who are running for these positions in government, whether be it for ministers or just parliamentarians, or do the immigration persons run also for immigration positions, or is that our point?
I think that's appointed. I think that might be a appointed position, but certainly we should be asking one or two of the individuals who are willing to come on and share what their plans are for, because a lot of us live and work here, so I think
the people of the Cayman Islands would want to know, consider that there are persons who are elected and they make, when election promise, you look at the US election promises that the people voted for what is actually happening in the US right now. They voted for it. They wanted to see this happening, and so people actually voted for this. This was stated on the campaign trail, and they wanted that. If you notice, there are more stringent and tougher measures on immigration, and this is a big part of political, what we call a political football, immigration.
Yeah,
it is. That political card. There was where they came up with the one politician run on the notion that they're going to what you call rollover policy. It was a big thing that really created that caused that government to actually won the election, because they're going to roll over people. And there's a statement that was made. I never forget the statement. When we finish, only reggae music is going to be left here. I never forget that statement. I never forgot it. And I heard that statement being made as a political statement by one of our very strong political parties. And it always seems to be the dogs that are kicked. I'm sorry, guys. I can't. But my
But I think earlier in one news report we shared that there are elections being held all over. There are several places, not just here in the Cayman Islands. Jamaica is in campaign mode as well.
Yes,
and there are several other places. US would have had their campaign, had their election, and seen the inauguration of their president. Monday was President's Day. Did we share that? Yes. In the US. And so, as we sit here and talk, well, actually, let's be deliberate and remind the listeners and viewers what's happening in terms of elections in and around our
Our
neighborhood,
region,
all
yes.
over in the region. And of course, be sure to join us, because if you are joining from outside of the Cayman Islands and you want to have a look at Georgetown, Grand Cayman, we will have that clip for
Let's go
you
look at
right
Georgetown
here
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Yes.
Let's go look at Georgetown and the revitalization
Project.
that is almost finished.
Well, ladies, I would say to you that if that project is really a nice looking project, though, you know.
It is.
A
It is
beautiful
beautiful.
project.
It's beautiful.
I am really excited about it. It really looks nice. And
And
of course, I think the people of Cayman, Grand Cayman, will be benefiting from it and will change the mindset and the landscape of how people do business and where you do business.
Certainly, certainly. And it's almost time for us to get out of studio. And I have been enjoying this morning so much. I am guarding my heart. And I want to thank the listeners and viewers, those who have joined us. Some have said good morning. One of our viewers on Facebook this morning said, "Thank you, Mikey G. You pray for me," because you said, I pray for not just my family and friends.
I pray for everyone.
And one of our VIP members, thank you for that prayer as well. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for participating in the program this morning. I hope that you would have been blessed and you would have learned something. We also will have a guest joining us on tomorrow's program, and we'll share more about that. So much happening. But I want to say, have yourself a beautiful day. May the Lord bless you abundantly, richly, more than you can ever ask, think, or imagine.
Bless those who persecute you and would want to see bad things happen to you. God asked us to do this. Have yourself a good day, guys. Catch you tomorrow morning, same time, same place, where we do it all over again for you. Of course, remember, like, share, subscribe to Flashpoint. Share it with someone who did not know what's happening right here on this station. Flashpoint Media, Flashpoint Radio, right here in Grand Cayman.
I'm Audley Scott, and you're listening to Flashpoint Radio, Rise and Shine, your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun. With Mikey G, Lady Elise, and Coralie Karen, the unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries. We'll make our way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air. Look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd. Just you and me together, and we'll all sing better outside. Just us in the sky. I will go wherever, I'll be yours forever. part of this circus? Is it innate? Feels like a heavy burden, but I can't relate. Do our actions even matter? Or is this a fate? At least now I'm feeling better. I know I'm here to stay. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air. Look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside.